Hey guys, welcome to another MTV Facebook Live. You know this lady, Shailene Woodley.
What's up?
Good to see you, buddy.
You too.
The movie is Snowden. It opens next Friday. Check it out. A provocative, really compelling piece of work from none other than Oliver Stone. I mean, you know what you're getting with Oliver Stone, and this one really delivers. So a lot to cover. First of all, I realized this as I was prepping today. I think I met you. This is our 5th anniversary.
Was it not 6 years ago? Was it 5?
Was it 2010 for Descendants?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, 6th. Happy 6th.
That's crazy. We met at TIFF.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I've known you forever, Josh. I just keep, we just keep running into each other.
We do the festival thing.
I didn't know TIFF was the first one. That's cool.
So I'm just curious, like, you know, this film, we were talking when you sat down about your activism, and we'll get into all that kind of stuff, but, like, do you feel you're a much different kind of person than the person I met 6 years ago, or at heart are you kind of the same, Shailene?
Yeah, I mean, of course, inherently different by the nature of aging and the nature of maturing and opportunities and experiences. But still, I think in my heart, I'm the same person that I probably was then.
I think so too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I lived in Hawaii at the time, so I was like a free-spirited Hawaiian jungle explorer. I hope I'm still that girl.
Yeah, I think so. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about this one. I saw it. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, Edward Snowden is a very compelling figure that is ripe for a narrative like this. I mean, I guess just to talk to me going in, you know, it seems like there's a lot of reasons to do something like this. Working with Joe, working with Oliver, the subject matter. Can you even rank them, or like, where were you at when this came along, and what was exciting about it for you?
What's exciting about it was that this movie was the story was going to not just be one for mainstream media, like news pundits to explore, but one for mass cinematic audiences.
Yeah.
There is something that cinema does that in many ways documentaries can't do, that news broadcasting stories cannot portray. Movies access all different types of learners, an auditory learner, a visual learner, and they also offer a chance for escapism.
Right.
So even though you have this movie, which is about Edward Snowden, and for the most part is based on direct true events, it's a dramatization of a real story. I did not do some of the things that Lindsay Mills, or her physical mannerisms. I created different ones than who she is. So it's a little bit different.
She's also not a public figure, so you can get away with that.
She's also not a public figure. But people leave this movie feeling affected. In 2013, when Edward Snowden disclosed the information that he offered us, it dramatically impacted my life because I was the last generation to not really have an iPhone in high school.
Right.
And my little brother, who's only 3 years younger, his generation is vastly different than mine, even though it's only 3 years because of technology.
Sure.
So you read 1984 and you sort of have these Orwellian theories and you joke about Big Brother. And then you have this man who worked for the NSA and the CIA come out and say, oh, by the way, all your theories and suspicions, those are actually validated and confirmed.
Yeah.
So it's something I was aware of. But I wasn't aware of is who Edward Snowden the human was, because he kind of became this plastered poster child for a lot of us.
Right.
But we didn't know his past trajectory in the trials and tribulations that he walked through that finally led him to his decision to disclose the information.
I think it's an interesting film for a number of reasons. I mean, like where we're at in this country right now in terms of dealing with these privacy issues, where it's a weird kind of conundrum and contradiction where especially young people like are exposing so much of themselves like voluntarily on social media, right? Like it's just the floodgates are open, and then you have this on the other side, this realization that everything is fair game. You are being watched, whether actively or you have the capacity to be. I mean, do you see that, like, do you see the irony of that kind of situation? And like, what's your take in terms of like, you've gotten involved in social media lately? Is the genie out of the bottle? Do you hope people kind of go backwards,
I hope
or
people
what?
start realizing that we start talking about is beyond social media. What Edward revealed wasn't, at least you know when you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram or you're on Twitter, I pray that everyone knows this, that when you say, I'm in Toronto with Josh and I write a caption about it, you know that that is going out to the world. Even if it's only your group of 100 followers or your 100 friends, you are presenting information that you are in control of presenting it. So that to me isn't really, of course it's something we have to pay attention to, especially younger generations, but that's not where the issue of privacy comes up, because that is an active choice that an empowered person has made to offer the world and to release into the world. Where privacy's line is drawn, and what deeply disrupts and is terrifying in a way, for not terrifying, that's the wrong word, is a point of contention for myself, is when you click an I agree box when you're signing up for Facebook, but you don't read the fine print.
How many of those things do we click on that we don't never look at?
Totally. Or if you order a shirt on Amazon, and then the next day you go on some other website, and you see ads popping up for this one clothing brand that you had just purchased from. And you're like, wait, how is that? How do you know that I was just looking at a refrigerator?
Yeah.
Like, why are there now refrigerators all over my web space? And it's because this data is being stored, it's being manipulated, and then it's being presented, whether it's for monetary benefit, corporate benefit, establishment benefit, government, hacker. There's so many different levels of technology, and technology has drastically improved, I think, in many ways, what we are able to do as a species. Whether it's medically, whether it's educationally. But what we've come to is now a place where, and I'm the first one to admit this, I don't know how to use my iPhone. I'm like the probably youngest person in the world who doesn't know like what swiping, all that, how that works.
Right.
But I depend on it in many ways. And it's this lack of awareness and a lack of knowledge that can get you in a sticky situation where you realize I am fully allowing my life to be taken for granted or taken advantage of because I have not set up necessary precautions like learning about encryption. It's sad to me that we have to do that, but that's the nature of technology.
Yeah.
So you adapt, and I think that's where we have to start adapting. That's what we have to start paying attention to. Privacy is a privilege, but it's only a privilege if you're aware that it's a privilege. And once you are, then it's your responsibility to take actions. It's the same thing like driving a car, right? Cars are dangerous. When people first started driving, I'm sure there was a lot of disruptions that happen that don't happen today with vehicles. But the difference is people adapted and they had different safety laws and put in place, and that's what needs to happen with the internet.
Yeah, I do want to mention, we've talked offline about this. You've been very passionate about the Dakota pipeline, which had some great news the other day.
I know.
Just talk to me a little bit of a sense, whether you want to get into the minutia of that or just broadly speaking, you're so passionate about your work and these kind of causes. Like, what has inspired? Is it one thing that caused you to kind of get involved in that cause, and like sort of where your head's at in this very volatile, season where we're thankfully at least talking about some issues in a very important time for America?
Yeah, it's such an important time for America and for the world. The thing that people are always like, oh, you're involved in this and that and that. There's so many things you're involved with. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm involved in social justice and inequality and planetary justice. That's it. Unfortunately, those subjects wear the hats of private prison industry and Native American sovereignty, et cetera, et cetera. The Dakota Access Pipeline, yesterday Obama's administration stepped in and the Department of Justice and Army Corps of Engineers and halted construction. Don't know how long that's going to be. I don't know if it's permanent or if they're moving the pipeline or if they've completely disrupted its construction altogether. At this point, I'm not aware of that. But I started crying because it shows that the power of the power does lie in the people's hands, but it takes showing up.
Yeah.
And I think what we witnessed in this, what we are witnessing still in this election, because of Bernie Sanders, and because of people like Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, there's so many varying polarities in our country and opinions, but it's taking people to show up, not just click a petition online, not just sit at home and complain, not say I want to change, but do something to create that change. That's how we stopped this pipeline. For the first time in history, Josh, this is mind-blowing. For the first time in history before colonization, Native American tribes were at war together. So there are over 100 Native tribes in one location. This has never happened in the history of humanity. That's major, to have indigenous people come together like that to protect water for future generations, for all of us. And the Obama administration has recognized that. And so, I guess it's just the validation of when people stand together, there's nothing that can't happen. And that's democracy at its finest, right? You
There you
question
go.
your
This is all
government, and
positive.
your government listens to you.
Yeah.
That's democracy.
And I'm always impressed that you know, beyond just being active, like, you know, on social media, like you're putting yourself physically out there. You're going to the places and stuff. And sometimes that's necessary when you truly believe in a cause. I mean,
It's also fun.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. It's fun to do something where you meet new people who know things that you don't know. I find it fun.
One question about, and I know it's kind of an uncomfortable subject given like the Divergent films are in a weird kind of stasis right now. I guess my question for you is like there's talk it might be a TV thing. That's not necessarily what you want to do, understandably. What do you hope happens? Like, what have you communicated to Lionsgate? Like, what your wish is?
I hope they make a feature film.
Yeah.
I want to finish these movies. I want to do justice to everybody who believes in the character of Triss as much as I believe in the character of Triss, and as much as I believe in the stories that Veronica Roth offered us. There's a reason I didn't just do Divergent for the hell of it. I did Divergent because I think that it parallels our modern day society in its own escapist, dystopian-esque way. But there's many parallels, and you see this young woman who wasn't inherently a hero. She still isn't a hero. She's just someone who believes in humanity and is going to do everything she can to protect humanity. And these are films that we need to be offering people right now. People need to have something they can relate to, but that's just far enough away where it triggers and inspires them, maybe in their own personal life, but also allows them to just, I keep using the word escape, but escape into an alternate reality.
Right.
So I hope that we can make another feature film. I
Optimistic?
hope that...
I mean, there's hope, maybe?
I'm eternally optimistic.
Okay,
I want to
okay.
do another movie with all my friends. I want to see the crew again. I want to, you know, I want to finish it up.
Yeah, you didn't sign on to do half the journey. You want to finish it out in the
Yeah.
right way.
Yeah.
Shailene, it's good to see you. Happy 6th anniversary.
Thank
Here's to
you.
many more.
Yeah, it's so
Film
crazy.
festivals.
Happy anniversary.
Go check out Snowden opening next Friday. It's an important film and an entertaining film, and that's always a good thing. It's good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you always.
See you guys next time.